been a while, but I'm back with another video, and what better way to return than with a For Honor hero guide. So today's guide is on Kensei, and it's mainly aimed at beginners, however I'm sure it will also be useful for those who are a bit more experienced with him as well. Anyway, let's get right into it. Okay guys, so with Kensei's moveset, as you can see, he's got a lot of these like chain, like three hit chain attack things. And you can look at these and try them out yourself if you want, but it's just like you hit him 3 times with your light attack and you get Dawn of the Steel Sun, or light, heavy is, I actually failed it somehow. light, heavy is Spirit of Inevitability, and that last one, light, heavy is Form of the Dragon or whatever. So I'm not going to go through all of those because it would take ages, but yeah, that's so the important ones to note here, guys, is Helm Splitter, Swift Strike, and I suppose this one, Grasp and Pounce. So as you can see, Helm Splitter is done by just dashing forward in a light attack, and it's just like a little hit on the head like that. It can catch your opponent off guard sometimes. It's quite useful for that type of thing. Swift Strike is done by pressing A or D or whatever direction you want to go if you're using an analog stick. And then dashing and then pressing the heavy attack button. This is also pretty good for, well, if you can kind of time it so that as you do the dash, you can see that your sword kind of glows or lights up, and if you press your heavy attack at any point when it's glowing, it'll do it. So you can delay it kind of. You can do either right at the start or you can leave it quite late like that, and do it like that. So Grasp and Pounce is just a dash forward and doing your your guard break, sorry. So you can do that. When you've got a guard break, you're guaranteed a side heavy, I think it is, which is quite nice, and you can use that in your mix-ups, which I'll explain later. So guys, if we take a look at his hero specific section in the Kensei moveset, the first thing that's quite important is his top heavy finisher unblockable, which is if you finish any chain with a top heavy, you'll get an unblockable attack. So if you do 2 lights and then a top heavy, it will be unblockable, or things like that. There are like also if you do like a Helm Splitter and then do a top heavy, that'll be unblockable, and if you do a Swift Strike and then a top heavy, that'll also be an unblockable, just to note that. The second kind of important thing is top heavy opener cancels. So, well, basically if you do a top heavy, it can cancel into anything basically. If you do a second top heavy, it'll also, and then obviously the top heavy finisher will also cancel into pretty much anything. And if you don't understand what that means, just top heavy opener startup can be cancelled by a side light opener, a side heavy opener, or a dodge, or an unblockable pommel strike with the guard break. So I'll explain. So to explain it further, let's say you're doing your top heavy, and you want to do a side, you want to cancel into a side light instead. You just do that and press the side light button instead. So you start with the top heavy and then press side light, and it'll do into that. Basically, that's what it means. And obviously the important one, or the most notable one, is if you change it into a guard break, it will do a pommel strike instead, which I'll explain. Okay guys, so let's talk a little bit more about this pommel strike. So it's Kensei's opener. To do it, you perform a top heavy cancelled with a guard break, so just like this, and then you do it basically. So to keep in mind that the top heavy must be the first move in your attack chain. So if you do like that and then do that, it won't do a pommel strike. It'll just do a guard break basically. It'll just cancel your second top heavy into a guard break basically, which is no use if you're trying to do a pommel strike. So if you manage to time it correctly and it connects with your opponent, you'll be guaranteed a light attack in any direction basically. But you should perform a top light because it does 20 damage, whereas a side light only does 16. If I just show you, oh, that's a top heavy, sorry. Well, I'll show you though now. So you do a top light. As you can see at the bottom right there, it shows that the chain top light did 20 damage, and if we do a side, you'll see that only does 16 damage. So it's not as good. If you missed your pommel strike, I recommend that you maybe do a top heavy instead, because I don't know how I'm gonna miss this here, because it's just not gonna miss really. But basically, if you do miss your pommel strike, which is quite likely against players because they can dodge and stuff, and they're usually quite good, then you could do a top heavy instead, because well, basically, if anyone knows Kensei, they're probably going to be expecting a top light after a pommel strike. So if you do a top heavy instead, then you'll mess up their parry times and stuff like that. So you might get a free hit off it, basically. Okay, so let's move on to mix-up, guys. There are a load of mix-ups that you can do with Kensei, and what I recommend you do is practice them against bots over and over until you're really good at them. So first off, you can go for a pommel strike, top light into a top heavy. So pommel strike, top light, top heavy, like that. A lot of the time, your opponent will be expecting the unblockable at the end, so what you can do is switch it up and go for a pommel strike, top light, and then the top heavy unblockable, but cancel it into a swift strike, so like this. Okay, not like that, hold on. Like that. Another mix-up you can perform is a pommel strike, top light, top heavy unblockable, but cancelled into a guard break. So after the guard break, you'll be guaranteed a side heavy. So I'll just show you that. Okay, it, for some reason it didn't like register there. This isn't the best performance of these things, but yeah. And then you'll be guaranteed a side heavy, which is worth 25 damage, which is quite nice. So the next one is swift strike into a top heavy unblockable, cancelled into a side heavy. So like this, and it's you'll get the side heavy, which is worth 35 damage. Fifth mix up I've got for you guys is a pommel strike, top light, and side light. So just like this, which is a nice little one there as well. Like many mix-ups, you should vary how quickly you perform each stage, if you know what I mean. Like with that one, you could delay pressing the side light at the end for a bit to try and mess up your enemies if they're trying to parry you, for example. Now, I don't want to drag the video on by listing tons and tons of mix-ups, so I'll leave it there, and what I suggest doing is jumping into a practice game and finding them out for yourself and seeing which ones you enjoy, and of course, which ones work for you the best. Okay guys, so that's all I've got for you for this basic Kensei guide. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've learned something, and I hope it's enough for you to go on and win a few games at least with Kensei and get used to him, and kind of get better with him as you proceed yourself. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.